And as we become more conscious of the heart, more present with it, the more it begins to respond. There are so many hidden treasures in the heart we don't yet know about because it's hard to measure the benefits and effects of open-heartedness. As I reflect upon the recent unveiling of our latest creation, Morning and Evening Meditations, Volume 2, I am filled with immense gratitude and awe for the warm reception it has received worldwide. It is truly humbling to witness the unwavering love and support these meditations have garnered over the years. The reason behind their resonance is clear. They offer a profound opportunity to reset ourselves each day, setting clear intentions as we greet the morning and engaging in introspection and review as we bid the day farewell. Let us delve deeper into the essence of meditation, for it is through this transformative practice that we embark upon a journey of self-discovery and self-cultivation. The very word meditation carries rich meaning, translating to becoming familiar with your mind in Tibetan and cultivating self in Sanskrit. When we meditate, we transcend the confines of our analytical minds and open the gateway between the conscious and subconscious realms. This portal is most accessible during the transitions of morning and evening as our brain chemistry undergoes natural shifts, leading to a slower pace of brain waves conducive to deep meditation. It's within this realm that we enter the operating system of our minds and bodies, where we can reprogram and recondition our very being. Hence, the genesis of the concept behind morning and evening meditations, a practice aimed at consciously engaging with our subconscious selves while maintaining a heightened state of awareness throughout our waking hours. It beckons us to approach each day as a microcosm of a lifetime, living with open eyes, purposeful intentions, and utmost attentiveness. Moreover, it prompts us to engage in a profound life review every night, observing our progress from a higher plane of consciousness. The fundamental practicum is as follows. Upon awakening, we remind ourselves of the person we no longer wish to be and envision the person we aspire to become throughout the day. We prime our minds and bodies to embody this new self as we rise from our slumber, unraveling the old programming and replacing it with new patterns. We then embark upon the journey of the day, diligently monitoring our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, ensuring that none slip by unnoticed. We remain steadfast in our commitment to embody our desired self, continuously bringing ourselves back to the present moment so as not to be swayed by old habitual tendencies. For if our personality shapes our personal reality, a composite of our thoughts, actions, and emotions, it stands to reason that in order to transform our reality, we must first transform our personality. In essence, nothing truly changes in our lives until we change ourselves. Throughout the day, we vigilantly observe our emotional responses, our thoughts, and our behaviors. We engage in metacognition, the gift bestowed upon us by the forebrain, developing a heightened awareness and understanding of our own mental processes. Through this practice, we empower ourselves to evolve our very essence, learning from our mistakes and rehearsing a new way of being. And as the day draws to a close, it is crucial to engage in a healthy self-reflection. We take a moment to check in with ourselves, assessing how the day unfolded in our personal lifetime. We honor our victories, acknowledging the things we have done well. We celebrate our progress and commit to integrating the lessons learned into our new life the following day. It is, in truth, a review of our daytime, an encapsulation of a lifetime in a single day. After the period of reflection, we contemplate the person we aspire to be the next day, a fresh opportunity, a new dawn. We ponder the knowledge, experiences, and observations that will influence our future self. We synthesize this wisdom into our personal playbook, carrying it with us into the forthcoming day, a day that grants us yet another chance to manifest that new personality. In many of our retreats and conversations, I have often discussed the concept of making the heart bloom. As spring emerges in the Northern Hemisphere with new growth surrounding us, it seems fitting to explore the process of cultivating a blooming heart. Nature teaches us that many things require time. When we plant a seed in fertile soil, we must allow it to germinate. It needs a balanced environment and the right elements to grow. The seed sends roots deep into the ground and develops a shoot that reaches towards the sun. We water it, feed it, and tend to the soil by removing weeds. With the ideal conditions and proper care, the seed's potential evolves into tangible form. The heart follows a similar path. Awakening the soul. What prompts us to desire a blooming heart? Many of us are accustomed to living in survival mode, constantly flooding our systems with stress hormones. This survival state often leads us to close our hearts because the heart is the center of creation. When we are stressed, it is not the time to create, it is a time to focus on survival. In this state, our personalities take over, driven by programmed thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Our personal realities reflect this stagnant experience of life. It's like watching reruns of the same TV show every day. There are no surprises, discoveries, or mysteries. We project our old stories and memories onto the predictable future. And what happens to our soul? It seems to fall asleep. The soul craves evolution and expanding experiences. It thrives in mystery and seeks the unknown. To transition from survival to creation, we require conditions that awaken the soul from its slumber, from dormant to fertile ground. Unfortunately for many of us, the soul awakens only during moments of crisis. It occurs when we realize that nothing outside of us can alleviate the emotions we feel in survival mode, feelings of emptiness, anger, fear, resentment, jealousy, insecurity, discouragement, or despair. Eventually, we comprehend that nothing in our lives will change until we change ourselves. During such crises, we must turn inward. We need to ask profound questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? Am I genuinely happy? Is this the life I truly desire? These are soul questions, and they serve as the seeds we plant. In survival mode, when we are fearful, the unknown is seen as a threat or danger. However, when the soul awakens and seeks to create new experiences, the unknown becomes an adventure. The soul begins to inquire, what else is out there for me to explore? With that, we plant the seed that eventually leads to a blooming heart. As the soul stirs, we shift from fallow ground to fertile ground. We gradually move beyond survival into creation, perceiving reality with fresh eyes. Once we have prepared the ground with our intentions and awareness and planted the seed by asking essential questions about our journey and growth, we enter the next stage of practice. We learn to nurture the delicate shoot that emerges from the soil, providing it with the right conditions and care to blossom petal by petal. In part 2, we will delve further into this process. Inspired by the deepening spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, we've been exploring what it means to make the heart bloom. In my last post, we talked about what motivates us to move out of survival into creation, how we prepare the soil and plant the seed of possibility. If you missed part 1, you can watch it again here. Now, having answered the call to evolve our soul's experience by planting that seed, we move into a new stage. We tend the seed and help it grow. Attention, energy, and emotions. As discussed in part 1, when our energy is concentrated in our first 3 energy centers, our heart can often be guarded or closed. Since the first 3 energy centers are related to our animal selves, procreation, safety, security, food and shelter, action, and reaction, living in the states of consciousness associated with those centers, feeling and fueling the emotions of survival, doesn't leave much energy for our precious hearts. And so we begin tending the seed by focusing on our heart, because where we place our attention is where we place our energy. The more we move out of survival, the more we expand the energy indigenous to the heart. Essentially, we're taking the time to give it our energy. And as we become more conscious of the heart, more present with it, the more it begins to respond. There are so many hidden treasures in the heart we don't yet know about because it's hard to measure the benefits and effects of open-heartedness. So far in this work, the closest we've come is measuring all the wonderful biological effects of heart coherence, from strengthening immune function to genetic changes to more balanced creative energy in the brain. With that in mind, once we've ascended our energy into the heart, we have to work on creating and sustaining heart coherence. Giving our heart our loving attention is the first step. The second step is to nurture it with elevated emotions. We're used to experiencing emotions with every other part of our body, but most of us need to practice feeling them with our hearts, because the heart has a different consciousness we must learn to activate. As our heart moves out of its protective mechanism of survival, it naturally starts to relax and open. Physiologically, things begin to happen. Feel-good hormones like oxytocin activate signaling pathways that enable blood to flow into the heart. That engorgement causes a profound feeling that amplifies the energy in the heart even more. When the heart is under the assault of constant stress, it becomes incoherent and its energy levels go down. That's because incoherent energy waves cancel each other out through interference. But when maintained coherent waves of energy interact, they create bigger waves. The higher the wave, the higher the amplitude, the higher the energy. It stands to reason then, the more energy in the heart, the more love we feel. This is how we not only create but sustain heart coherence. In our first 3 energy centers, we felt the emotions of survival. Now we feel expansive emotions that open our heart. We feel joy, we feel kindness and compassion. We feel inspiration, compassion, gratitude. We feel pure love. We feel whole. We elevate ourselves out of the limited, pre-programmed conditions of our purely animal selves. We connect with our divinity, cultivating patience and creativity. We often think opening the heart is really difficult, something we can achieve only through complicated and elaborate techniques. This may be because we confuse something that happens slowly with something that's not working. But let's go back to the image of the seed we talked about in part 1, the seed we planted by asking soul questions. It takes time for that seed to gather enough. Our research team has been analyzing preliminary data from an interesting experiment conducted last year. While the findings are not yet conclusive, I would like to discuss some of what we have learned so far and explore the implications and possibilities that arise from it. Last year, we made an exciting discovery about a protein called serpina-5, which we isolated from the plasma of advanced meditators' blood. This protein was found to inhibit the entry of a SARS-CoV-2 pseudovirus containing spike protein into cells. As part of our ongoing studies on the effects of meditation on biology, we wanted to investigate whether attendees at one of our week-long advanced retreats could intentionally elevate levels of serpina-5 through their meditations. We divided 70 subjects into 2 groups. Group A was given 5 real genes, proteins, including serpina-5, to target, while Group B was given 4 fake genes, proteins, and 1 real gene, protein, serpina-5. Both groups were led to believe that they had the group with the real genes/proteins and were instructed to focus their intention on elevating the expression of the 5 genes, proteins, during their meditations. The main question we sought to answer was whether it is possible to control the expression of genes through intention and focus alone. Now let's discuss some of the observations and hypotheses we have encountered in our data analysis. In Group A, out of the 29 meditators who completed the study, out of the original 35, 100% of them showed elevated expressions of serpina-5 after a week of meditations. This is an incredibly significant result, with 28 out of 29 participants having much higher levels of serpina-5, and only one person's levels remaining about the same. This level of success in influencing serpina-5 levels through meditation alone is almost unheard of statistically. It suggests that the meditators were able to effectively influence the expression of serpina-5, even without consciously knowing anything about the molecule. In contrast, Group B, which had 4 fake proteins and 1 real protein, serpina-5, showed a surprising result. Out of the 27 participants who completed the study, out of the original 35, 70% of them had decreased expressions of serpina-5, despite their intentions to elevate it. Given that the majority of the genes proteins in Group B were non-existent and not naturally present in the body, we did not expect to see them magically appear. However, the fact that their serpina-5 levels dropped is intriguing and raises several questions. One possible explanation that